Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome to another week of the Doctor is In podcast and the live. We want to thank you for all your following, and we appreciate that very much, and all the downloads on the podcast. And good morning to you, Nativity, and good to have you on. Nick, how are you this morning? So I hope you can hear me. And Sherry, how are you? Bernice, good to have you on with us this morning. Arlene, Suzanne, I want to talk to you this morning about a new study that came out on vitamin K2. We're going to go over that. It is so exciting. Jerry and Angelina and Yolande, and good morning to you. So guys, good to have you on. Maria and Diane from Timmins, my hometown. Lise, good to have you on this morning. And Holly. You guys are great. Sure appreciated coming on every day with us. And we got a big crowd on this morning. I'll say hello to a few more. Nahid from Pakistan is on with us this morning. Well, Nahid, welcome. Good to have you on with us. George, how are you doing? And nice to have you guys on. Bev from Oklahoma. Nice to have you on. Maria, it's great. Darlene, and let me just see here. I miss Diane and Diane Pronovo. Good, and looking forward to seeing you soon. Claudie and Linda from Branson, Missouri. That's heaven, man. From Branson, how are you? Thanks so much for watching this morning. And from Kapuskasing, from one end of the globe to the other. From Kapuskasing to Pakistan. And you guys are great. Thanks so much for coming on. I'm going to do a little illustration, okay? You ready? Are you ready? I am going to do a little illustration this morning, and I want you to understand the significance of this. Now, what I brought outside with me this morning, this is the back end of my Keurig, my coffee machine, okay? And I hope you can see this. You see this? What is that? That's calcium, right? That's a mineral deposit on the back of my Keurig, okay? And I'm going to do something this morning. I hope it works, because it usually does. You know me, I'm not too good at anything that's, I got to do any kind of change to the podcast this morning. But I want to show you something and the significance of vitamin K2. Now, what I brought out here with me this morning is vinegar. You see that? Now, you guys know this. What are you doing? You're de-liming, okay? You're de-liming your coffee machine. You got to do it, right? Okay, so I'm going to do it right in front of you. I'm going to put, and my wife says, make sure you get enough in there to get right past the, okay, so I'm putting vinegar in here. Okay, that's strong stuff. And what happens when you put vinegar in your coffee machine? You take all the calcium out of it. Folks, that's what vitamin K2 does. Now, you can already see it. It's already cleaned up a lot of it, okay? You can see it. You see the difference? You put vinegar in there. Of course, I would run this ordinarily through my coffee machine to get the calcium out. Guys, listen to me. This is what vitamin K2 does. Okay? And for many, many years in the nutritional field, they talked about vitamin K1. And you know what K1 does? K1 helps with clotting. Okay? So vitamin K1 helps with clotting. Okay? I got a pile of moths coming out. I think maybe they like the vinegar. I don't know. Okay. So vitamin K1 helps with clotting. And that's good. There's nothing wrong with that. Helps to clot your blood. Okay? So vitamin K1 is clotting. Vitamin K1 is in the plant kingdom. So when, ladies, you have your salad, you're consuming vitamin K1. I call it glorified grass. Okay? I'm pretty negative on vitamin K1. Not really, I'm just teasing. But compared to K2, vitamin K2 decalcifies your blood vessels. How do you find vitamin K2? What is the highest source of vitamin K2? Cheese. Cheese curds. Cheese. See, vitamin K2 is found in the animal kingdom. K1 is found in the plant kingdom. K2 is found in the animal kingdom. In especially cheese, but in eggs and meat, you have vitamin K2, mostly in butter. See, I'm not against dairy. A lot of people ask me, are you against dairy? Of course not. I love cheese. I love butter. I don't like today's milk in the grocery store unless you have a cow in the backyard. But you see what I'm saying? How are you going to de-lime your blood vessels? And if I took a cloth right now, maybe if Rosie hears me, she'll bring me a cloth, and I'll show you how that cleans out that calcium from your blood vessels. You see, calcium, by the way, is good for you. Nothing wrong with calcium. You need calcium. And everybody knows that calcium is good for your bones. Okay? Everybody knows that. You know? You want to have nice teeth? You need calcium. So calcium's important. It's a very important. But the thing is, people that take calcium as a supplement, it doesn't get to the bones. It'll stay in your blood vessels. It will calcify your blood vessels. You don't want that. You want to decalcify your blood vessels. So the thing to do is get both in the same food. How do you think you get calcium in food? The best source: cheese, eggs, some in meat. You got calcium in meat. You're supposed to eat your calcium. And you're supposed to really eat your vitamin K2. Now, we put K2 in our vitamin D in order that vitamin D, and I'll show you this in a second, because there's actually 5 things that vitamin K does that I want to focus in on this morning. But the number one thing it does is it takes calcium out of your blood vessels and puts it where it belongs, in your bones. So if you take calcium, it's still the number one supplement, selling supplement in North America, is calcium. It's not a good idea to take it as a supplement, especially if you don't take vitamin K2 with it. But even so, you don't need. Eat your calcium. Eat your calcium. Cook with butter. Eat cheese. How many of you love cheese? I love cheese. And you know, people sort of come after me a little bit online. And I get it. I understand where they're coming from. Because they're going, oh, doc, you know, that's dairy. Dairy's no good for you. Who told you dairy's no good for you? I'm the farmer's best friend. Now, I'm not so much on milk. You guys know that. I don't like store-bought milk anymore. I really don't. It's been denatured. It's not. Man changed milk. Nature's got good milk. It's really half cream, isn't it? Yeah. So drink your cream. You know how much I love cream. And eat your cheese. And you'll ask me, what kind of cheese? Well, a little bit of aged cheese is better, but look, I'm not necessarily talking about processed cheese, okay? Even though it would be a much better snack than having a chocolate bar. I mean, there's a method to my madness, guys, okay? There's a reason I do stuff. Because we live in a different world. You need to, heart disease is still the #1 killer. Well, they're saying now in the United States that cancer has crept up to take over #1. Well, when I look at the daily statistics, that the last daily statistics I saw in 2019, okay, 2020 is not out yet, but 2019 shows that daily deaths of heart disease is still higher than the daily deaths of cancer. Now, if that changes, I'll let you know. So, to me, yeah, maybe cancer's overtaken in terms of numbers of heart disease, but not in terms of death. Okay, not in terms of death. Not yet, but it's creeping up there. But I think the #1 thing, what you can do for your heart, the #1 thing that you can do for your blood vessels is to take vitamin K2. And I want to encourage you to eat it. To eat vitamin K2. Okay? Now, let me go over some of the other things, okay? I'm just watching this vinegar. It's pretty clear now, like it's really getting much clearer, okay, if you can see it. And of course, like I think if I just poured out the vinegar and did a wipe down of that, it would be, that calcium in there would be completely gone, okay? And so we understand these things. Anybody that's ever de-limed anything, and you see it, right, with in this day and age, especially if you're using hard water and your washing machines or whatever there's minerals in there, and they happen to calcify your lines and that, right? And it can do it in your dishwasher and this kind of thing. Anyway, okay, I want to talk to you about a new study that came out with vitamin K2. Okay, so I just wanted to show you the #1 thing that vitamin K2 does. And K1 doesn't do it. K1 clots your blood. Okay? It helps to clot your blood. But K2 really thins your blood because it doesn't do it so much in the blood as much as it takes it off from your blood vessels. I don't know of a drug that would be as good as vitamin K2, and you get to eat it. Isn't that beautiful? You get to eat it. And butter is a very high source of it too. But the animal kingdom, and this is why you guys know me, so I'm always preaching this. And come and get me and put me in a home, please, if I stop preaching this, okay? God gave us 2 kingdoms to eat. The animal kingdom and the plant kingdom. Okay? He gave us 2 kingdoms to eat. Not 1, but 2. And for 30 days, I only want you to eat from the animal kingdom, and I've got a big reason. And by the way, my book is now officially off to the publisher. So I'm going to explain all this in the book, and I think you'll find it fascinating. And I'll let you know. We'll do a countdown when I get a better idea when it's... But our part is done now, so I'm very happy about that. Listen, it's a big task, and writing a book is a big task. And I enjoy it, but it's there's a lot of little details, and anyway, I just wanted to do it. So here's the new thing about vitamin K2 that you might never have heard of before that is very effective it really helps in women, especially, because men can happen too, but women that have hypothyroidism, okay? Hypothyroidism, low functioning thyroid. It doesn't even have to, you can have normal tests and still have many, many symptoms of low thyroid, like body temperature fluctuations, insomnia. Your thyroid can affect that, belly fat, insulin resistance. There's a lot of different signs, hair loss, brittle nails. One of the factors in the thyroid that a lot of times people will never explain to you is the effect of estrogen on the thyroid, okay? So remember, ladies, out of your ovaries, estrogen makes you a woman and progesterone is pro-babies. And I don't care how old you are, you need them to be equal. So when we say estrogen dominance, it doesn't mean that it's always in relationship to the amount of progesterone you're secreting. Okay, that's really important to understand. Because, Doc, why are you trying to lower my estrogen? I'm a woman, I need estrogen. Yes, you do. But it's very important that your estrogen be balanced with your progesterone. And this is why in the world in which we live, and this is really an important thing, one of the things that we see the most is dominance of estrogen as compared to progesterone, okay? And progesterone, ladies, is your master hormone. It's the one that makes everything work properly. And it has to be balanced with estrogen. And this is why we're often, because, look, I'm going to show you something. You see that bottle? What kind of a bottle is it? It's plastic. If you think you can get away from plastic, well, good luck with that. It's everywhere. But plastic mimics estrogen. Any chemical that you can think of, whether it be convenient or not. Maybe you use it as household cleaners or underarm deodorants or whatever. Plastic is in the air. Plastic is in our water. Plastic is everywhere. It's in the environment. And ladies, chemically, plastic elevates your estrogen. It's a xenoestrogen. So are, the 100,000 chemicals that have been created since World War II. No wonder we're so full of estrogen, even men. Do you know that men, oftentimes, especially around the ages of 50, they have more estrogen than their wives have? What? Yeah. Their testosterone is going down and their estrogen is going up. Why do you think we see so much prostate cancer? Ladies, why is there so much breast cancer? We're not winning the war on cancer. We're not knocking estrogen down. That's really important. One of the ways of knocking estrogen down, listen to this, vitamin K2. Vitamin K2. Yes. Butter. Cheese. Eggs. Meat will lower your estrogen, the dominant estrogen. You want estrogen. It'll not take estrogen out of your body so that you don't have any. Don't worry about that, ladies. When you take the birth control pill, what do you think they're giving you? Horse's urine. Estrogen from a mare. Look, I'm not telling you not to get on the birth control pill. Come on. What's a man have to do with reproductive health? But I'm just telling you the side effects of that. And ladies, when you go on HRT, hormone replacement therapy, and I get it, you're going crazy in menopause or premenopause or postmenopause. And you're suffering. I get it. But just understand, when you do the horse's urine, as my friend Dr. Fishman used to say, if you start eating hay, then give people hormone replacement therapy. I said, otherwise, don't give it to them. Dr. Fishman, I love that guy. Okay. He was the first guy to come up with bioidentical hormones, and he, a pharmacologist. He still teaches at the Nova Medical School in Florida. The guy's unreal. He's so smart. Anyway, so you want to lower your estrogen? You want to lower your risk of heart disease? Vitamin K2. You want to empty your arteries of calcium? Put it in your bones where they belong? Vitamin K2. Here's another thing that vitamin K2 does. It lowers, or it increases, I'll use the word lower in a second. It increases your insulin sensitivity. Now let me explain that, okay? Your cells, okay? Every cell in your body has a receptor to insulin. You know what insulin does? It takes your food that you eat and converts it to energy. And it has to get that sugar out of your bloodstream and put it inside your cells. But your cells, when they see insulin coming around all the time, when you eat crappy carbs and sugar all the time, your cells go, you know what, insulin? I hate your guts. It's family dynamics. I'm tired of you. And that's what it does, because the cells become resistant. And you guys hear us all the time talking about insulin resistance or high circulating insulin. It's not sugar, guys. It's insulin. At the bottom line is what your insulin is doing. And of course, when you're eating sugar and you're eating crappy carbs, you're making lots of sugar. And your cells eventually resist it. They go, get out of here. I can't stand you, insulin. But I'll tell you what, insulin will not leave. It's like you have a crazy uncle or whatever that won't leave the party. You're trying to go to bed and they want to stay. Well, insulin must stay because it has to open up the cells. They can't leave sugar in the bloodstream. It must take it out of your cells. Absolutely must. So what happens? It pours more and more and more insulin. But you know what vitamin K2 does? Vitamin K2, what does it do? It makes your cells less resistant or more sensitive to insulin. That is very important. You know, exercise does that too, by the way. Exercise helps with insulin sensitivity. Your cells become more sensitive to it. You need less of it if you exercise. That's vitamin E. But vitamin K2 helps with insulin sensitivity, okay? So that's important. So now we talked about 3 things, okay? Now, here's another thing it does. And this has to do with calcium too. It lowers your secretion from your parathyroid glands. Now listen, para, beside, okay? Your thyroid is right here, guys, okay? Your thyroid gland is right here. What's just underneath it that you never even talk about, that I talked about a week ago, maybe 2 weeks ago? What did I talk about? Your thymus gland. Nobody ever talks about that gland, but anyway. And one of the glands we rarely ever talk about is parathyroid. But you see, that's what makes calcium, your parathyroid. And if it's functioning properly, it won't make too much calcium. And vitamin K2 helps your parathyroid just to secrete enough calcium for your bones And you know, you need calcium even in your nerves. And it's important that you eat calcium and not take it as a supplement. So isn't that important? It helps that. Okay? And so I talked about the thyroid. I talked about what that does to your estrogen. And oh, by the way, I got to come back to that thyroid for a second because I don't want to forget this. When you, ladies, I didn't even finish my point. What a senior I am. When your estrogen's too high compared to your progesterone, it slows your thyroid down. It slows your thyroid down. I didn't finish my point. I meant to say that. So what does estrogen dominance do? It slows your thyroid down. Why is it that so many women, listen, ladies, why is it that so many of you, even on the reset, you're into the reset and you're on the scale. All you can think about is that scale. And I understand that. But you're a woman and you have estrogen. And estrogen's job is to hold on to fat. But too much estrogen slows your thyroid down. Your thyroid is your metabolism. Your thyroid is your gas pedal. And it's a woman's disorder much more than a man's. Men, they have trouble with their thyroid, but it's almost like a rarity. Women, your hair's thinning out. You just had a baby. And you get what? You can get tremendous weight gain. Where does that come from? Well, your body's not making enough progesterone. You left all the progesterone in the placenta. And your body knows what to do, but sometimes it just gets tripped up and your estrogen's going up. Your thyroid is slowing down. And you're gaining weight. How many women have gained weight after a baby? And they never lost it for a lot of women. It's very difficult. I get it. I'm a hormone guy. Hormones. Okay? I get it. And this is why we are always into balancing the hormones. It's very important to do that. And you need to eat cheese to balance your hormones. You need to eat butter to balance your hormones. I had eggs this morning, and bacon, and sausages. I do that about 3 or 4 mornings a week. Lots of butter. No toast, just lots of butter. Lots of butter to make the bacon, eggs, and sausages. Butter's wonderful to cook with. I love butter. Vitamin K too. And if you saw how much cheese I eat, it's fabulous. Ladies, eat your cheese. It'll lower your estrogen. It'll help your thyroid. Yes. Yes. Okay. So, you get the lesson? Now, my wife did not bring me, I guess she didn't hear me. I'm just letting that vinegar sit there, okay? And you can see now, you can even see through. You can see what that vinegar did, okay? And I tell you, it's almost completely clear now. Where did all that calcium go? Down to the bottom of my Keurig machine. I hope you enjoyed that illustration. I'm always worried when I do stuff because I'm always thinking it's going to go wrong and I won't be able to fix it and I'm going to have technical difficulties. But that calcium just has disappeared almost 100% from the back of my coffee maker. K2, guys. K2. So review. Let me just close with this. Review. Vitamin K2, not K1. Your ladies in your salad in K1 does not do what K2 does. And vitamin K1 cannot convert to K2. So don't fool yourself. And I know you guys have been talking to me a fair amount, and the feedback I get, there's a whole generation of young people now coming up. Vegetarians are not as bad as vegans, but there's a whole generation that's being taught, even from, I saw articles this weekend from the World Health Organization telling the world not to eat meat and not to eat eggs and getting away from dairy. Folks, it's insanity. It's insanity. And I'll tell you something, and I wrote this in my book. Anyone that tells you that plants are superior to the animal kingdom in terms of food do not know nutrition. And they need to go back to school and learn Nutrition 101. And I'm telling you, it's propaganda, folks. It's propaganda. And it's been going on for a long time, by the way. And I've showed you the history of that in the past, especially the cereal companies, telling you to eat oatmeal instead of bacon and eggs because it was lower in cholesterol. Well, that's the craziest thing that you'd ever hear. Now, nobody can ever convince me that eating perfect food like an egg, that'll give you bad cholesterol. It is so stupid. I can't get over the silliness and how the world has gone for that lie. It's a lie. It's a lie. It's craziness. Anyways, okay. So, folks, thanks so much for watching today. Please share this with your friends and family on Facebook, okay? We appreciate it. If you haven't signed up to be a member of the private members group in our Facebook group, please join us, okay, on Facebook. All you have to do is sign up for membership in our private Facebook group. We'd really appreciate that. And thanks so much for those that have done. We got thousands of members. I think we're up to around 8,000 members now, just in that private group. Okay, and they're great because they ask all these questions, and there's a lot of feedback with our staff and that, and we really appreciate that. Okay, so thanks for watching. God bless you. See you tomorrow, Lord willing.